Germany is coming in hot today with a brutal takedown of Donald Trump that is both hilarious and probably not safe for work. And I have the full story and all the spectacular imagery for you next. Donald Trump's assault on our democracy continues, but he's also been very proficient at alienating and offending our allies. Government officials have been busy denouncing him, and now citizens are getting into the act with some inspiring efforts. And in just a minute, I'll show you the German effort that is currently trending. But first, allow me to show you who else is speaking up to take Trump down. This report by Rachel Maddow caught my eye with the title, "Trump Accidentally Builds Broad Coalition of Opponents Energized by His Unpopular Agenda." And the description added, "Each round of extremist executive orders brings a new collection of anti-Trump activists."
So lots and lots going on this weekend. The American people are making themselves heard. They are showing up. Protests at Tesla dealerships all over the country, protesting what the president has assigned his top campaign donor to do to the federal government. There were big protests at Tesla dealerships. The Tesla dealership in New York City on the west side of Manhattan, there was a really big protest there. There were actually 9 people arrested at that protest. There was also a big protest targeting another company owned by the president's top campaign donor. This was SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California this weekend, right near the LAX airport in Southern California. Lots of people turned out there. This guy came dressed as Elon Vader. "Donald, I am your daddy." Congresswoman Maxine Waters turned up at that protest as well. The SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne is in her district. This was Dublin, California this weekend, right near where I grew up in the East Bay. Members of the community there protesting against the use of a closed correctional facility as a detention center for ICE. There's also a big march in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania this weekend, protesting the massive indiscriminate cuts to the federal workforce. There was another protest for federal workers in San Francisco this weekend. A crowd hung an upside-down flag across from the Golden Gate Bridge. Protesters also lined up along the side of the road this weekend outside President Trump's club in Palm Beach, Florida. Then there's also what happened in the national parks this weekend. Check this out. This was in Yosemite National Park in California, also on the edge of the Grand Canyon in Arizona, at the St. Louis Arch in Missouri, at Bar Harbor, Maine, just outside Acadia National Park. There were Save Our Parks protests at more than 100 different national parks all over the country this weekend, protesting the firing of parks employees by the Trump White House. And when I say it was all over the country, I mean it. They were really all over the place. This was Denali National Park in Alaska, the Arches National Park in Utah, Valley Forge National Historic Park in Pennsylvania. Those folks standing out in the snow were protesting at the Indiana Dunes National Park.
And now let's transition to the breaking story featuring Germans showing their displeasure, but doing so with a creative twist. In Europe, protest often happens in the form of satire, and be warned because satire is sometimes framed within adult themes. So if you're watching this at work, it might be best to make sure the boss isn't lurking behind you. I discovered what you're about to see in a HuffPost article entitled, "NSFW Float Roast Donald Trump with MAGA at German Carnival," and it wasn't the only effigy mocking the U.S. president at the Dusseldorf parade. President Donald Trump was the target of widespread mockery and criticism Monday during the annual Carnival parade in Dusseldorf, Germany. In one, Trump was depicted naked along his Russian and Chinese counterparts. Another float took aim at Trump's anti-environment and climate change denying agenda. A third showed effigies of Trump and Putin appearing to crush Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Top Trump ally Elon Musk was depicted as a poop-spewing Napoleon-esque figure. And there's many more photos in the article from years past that are a bit too much to show here. But here's the article again if you want to see for yourself and enjoy all the graphic mockery of Trump. We've had some fun at Trump's expense, but now we have to get really serious because he sees the unrest too, and he wants to crush it in the bud. Just today he posted, "All federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protest. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No masks. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Agitators will be imprisoned? Donald Trump's threat is a DEFCON 1 alarm when viewed through the lens of democratic principles and free speech. Institutions of higher learning have always been a place for individuals exercising their rights and feeling safe in doing so. It's a place where debate should be fostered, not where fear should be instilled. In fact, America's founding philosophy, defiance against overreach, is taught in those very schools. And that line about sending agitators back to where they came from is just another social signal for those who light up whenever they hear Trump's coded language for white nationalism. As Donald Trump leans harder into centralized control, suppression of dissent, and even punishment, let's do our part to support the resistance in a safe and sound manner and continue to occupy democracy together.